Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Soccer 360, the show where we discuss all matters of football. I hope you're all having a lovely afternoon wherever you're tuned in from. I'm your host, Delvin Owino, and what we'll be discussing today, Champions League is back where the elite go head-to-head, and we'll also be touching on the Europa League. And in the local scene, we'll be touching on just a rather funny comment from the presidential aspirant, Sam Nyamweya. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But let me introduce to you my panelists first and foremost, but as well, do not forget, social media handles will be appearing in the bottom of the screen. Do leave your name on WhatsApp so I can shout you out. On Twitter, #Soccer360. Now, my people, Salim Waziri, rocking Manchester City jersey through to the last 8 of the Champions League. How are you feeling today and how are you doing?
The weekend has never started any better because we went out there yesterday and totally outclassed the 13-time Champions League winner. So I can't complain much. I can just sit here and keep on smiling.
Lyon next. Should that be a rather easier tie for you guys?
Not really, because those so-called lesser teams in the Champions League are what do damage to you. And we saw yesterday what Memphis Depay and co are capable of doing. So Pep Guardiola has got not to sleep. He has got to get his tactics again spot on in the quarterfinals.
Okay, next to Salim Waziri is none other talking about Memphis Depay. He played for your team not too long ago. How are you doing?
I'm good, but a lot of controversy around that particular game with the penalties that didn't seem like clear penalties. But because it's not Manchester United, no one is complaining anyway. What can I say?
You're doing good though. Europa League, another, probably we'll say on paper, another easy tie.
Yeah, it does look like an easy tie. But let's wait and see. You know, nothing is ever easy in football.
Yeah. Never easy, and miracles are possible. Talking about miracles, Mr. Blue, Chelsea 001 fan, Mr. Prince, today you do need a miracle to go through.
We don't need a miracle, man.
What do you need then?
We don't need a miracle. What I can tell you is we are fully behind us because we are not competing with a lesser team. So we know what we are up against, and that is why I'm telling you tonight.
Leave your prediction for later on.
Watajua hawajui.
Don't go too much ahead of time. We are just going to discuss this match. It's going to be one of our big matches we're discussing.
This team, respect it. Respect this team. Iko na tabu nyingi, imepitia kwa tabu nyingi, lakini at the end of the day.
I know how you hope. How you hope the likes of ZH and Team of Honor will be available for this game.
They wish.
But unfortunately, they won't be playing. So, yeah.
And you're plagued with a list of
we are Chelsea. We are Chelsea. Anyway, you are telling me not to talk too much.
Yes,
that's why
we are going to preview that game. Do not talk too much about it. We're going to preview that game.
I was just showing my haters
that
we are ready. My haters, such as Olegana Soldier's daughter.
Funny thing about you, Prince, is that you're normally very confident the day of the game. Monday, you are not so confident. I remember we touched on this game on Monday.
Which Monday? You know what happened? No.
Reality hit when you saw the list of injuries.
No, you know what? You know what has kidogo tu, what has given me that hope? Nearly all the champions of Europe wametolewa. So who is us not to eliminate one of them?
Okay.
Tonight.
Leave it there.
Goodness.
Leave it there. We'll just start off by discussing Sam Nyamweya, FKF presidential aspirant. He's come out with some very funny comments regarding the FKF electoral board, who will be in charge of the upcoming elections. And he, in short, to summarize everything he said, he says that he doesn't think there'll be transparency heading into these elections. And he went as far as to mention how the FKF electoral board quack, walk, and talk. Like none other than Nick Mwendwa. It's basically Nick Mwendwa. So is there some truth to that we might see a lot of the FKF electoral board heading into these elections, the transparency won't be as clear? Because
isn't transparency in elections generally in Kenya never clear? Like, tell us something we don't know.
But guys, this is politics like any other.
Yeah.
And one of the key things in politics you have to use against your opponent is propaganda. All right, I'm not saying what he's saying is propaganda, but we have to expect such words from opponents anyway.
But is he crying?
But he's crying wolf, and him himself has been there with the same electoral board.
Is why I'm
so
saying,
it makes someone think, how did he get there?
Yes,
then?
that is why I'm saying, hii ni maneno tu.
Or do you think that he's crying defeat quite early?
Quite early, maybe.
Yeah. I think for me it's kind of a concession, complaint, or a cry, because for me, as Nico is saying, he was there. And back then, when you could have talked about the electoral board, Sam Nyamweya could have banished you from football.
Yeah.
But now he's talking about the same electoral board. Okay, fine. He's talking about them being in contempt of court by the SDT ruling. So, but the office is not there forcefully. They were told to be there until the solution is reached upon. But then again, for me, he's just trying to be relevant, because time and time again, my favorite Uncle Sam has been known to come up when he's coming to the 11th hour, the elections are nearing, he has to come up with some tactics by saying literally a propaganda, so that
Your favorite uncle.
he makes the other team short-handed. But then again, for me, it is high time. As much as a lot of respect for him being an old man, he should just go home and take care of his grandchildren, because time and time again, we are tired. We are tired of his whining. He's whining like a little girl.
Now, Salim, there you're talking. That's Salim talking about his favorite uncle. But then again,
now, actually, his worst uncle, how he talks about them.
Then again, I just have to ask this question, because I've asked you again before. Does he stand a chance, really, heading into these elections? Do you see him?
I don't think so, because the problem with him, he already had a rocky road before. What is he going to do different this time? But honestly speaking,
he needs a miracle, just like Chelsea needed a miracle. He needs a miracle in order to get that seat.
Let me tell you, but FKF election is something very different, because you just have to convince some people, a number of people, and then you are through. That's all. If it was about 47 million Kenyans, it would have been another thing.
Yeah.
But here is about calling you Delvin, come, say, it's not allowed, but it's how the game goes.
Yeah,
exactly. So why not? I cannot throw him away from all this, because it is very possible. The biggest opponent, that is why he always talks about, he always talk about Nick Mwendwa, because he's the biggest opponent.
Yeah.
I'm saying incumbent, I'm saying you condemn, I'm saying you go system, so you can understand. That is why he's throwing all those words. But it is possible. Everybody, pale anaweza shinda. It's about who you are, it's about what you have, it's about umekanyaga wapi, bro.
Yeah.
Now, another thing I want to ask you guys is that we do know that Nick Mwendwa, FKF chairman, he has signed this deal with this betting firm. Now, if he is, we know Kenya is, there's a lot of politics in football. If he is to be defeated, do you think this deal will be cancelled?
Wasn't there a recent, there's something I'd seen recently, I think I'd even shared it on the group, that there are no papers backing this deal.
A lot of people have questioned.
Yeah, because there are no papers.
Yeah,
there are no papers backing the deal. So is it an actual deal, or did he just go ahead and announce a deal that hadn't been solidified?
Yeah,
that's what people don't know.
Yeah, and that's why we have seen the teams like Gor Mahia and Kakamega Homeboys. They have not signed yet all those documents to receive all those funds, because, as Nico is saying, they are questionable particular parts of that contract. But then again, as you have said, a sponsorship deal, the terms are in between the president and the company. So if the president becomes different, Delvin, because the new president might not agree to the terms of the working conditions of whichever the betting firm wants, and that's what is happening. So this at the moment is a touch and go kind of situation, because if you look at it, the betting firm and Nick Mwendwa had to come on a table and have working conditions that favor both of them. So if there is a new president, he might want completely different terms. So that is where now, if a new president comes in, they might just pull out of the deal if it exists.
I don't think they can, because I think it works the same, like, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm to own a company today and I'm selling it off, you know, the way you can't generally fire your employees, because everyone is on a certain contract. So I think with that, it'll kind of have, maybe they might change the terms where they're allowed to, because there might be a clause knowing that there's an election, so they might put a clause in that allows them to continue their sponsorship, because they're investing money for the next 5 years, regardless of who becomes the next president after the election. I'm sure they would put a clause in there to protect themselves as investors if the deal is actually
But in Kenya,
there.
in Kenyan sponsorship deals, do even all these clauses, do they even exist?
I'm sure
Because
they do. They're not
things are
Kenyans,
run-
remember,
things
they're
are run
Nigerians.
professionally.
Nigeria.
Yeah,
I think that's even
but at the end of the day,
the
our
most
president,
questionable part.
Even their own people are in doubt. Of the same company, if it exists in their own country.
yeah, so that's where the
it's
problem
very-
is.
So me, the thing I would say is, if we're having a deal, guys, and then I come up with a certain way of maybe dividing it, and maybe you have questions, you as Nicolette, and we are the same team, then questions should be asked as, I mean, the validity of that deal.
Yeah.
Imagine you are not sure if that is a deal or something. Actually, really, you know, kunafa like kukuwa na a very big investigation behind this, because how come a team like Gor kubwa ambaye imekuwa na mashida imesikia ndo hizi
No,
nasema
nakata.
no. You know, we should think about this. And others, I've heard others who are also convinced, you know, on a personal individual like Salim, niaje, we ni chairman wa team, weka hii kitu, you know, walikuwa tu just convinced. So a thorough investigation should be done behind this.
Okay, now let's leave it to the viewers to tell us what they do think. First and foremost, do you agree with Sam Nyamweya heading into the FKF elections? Do you think the FKF electoral board will be favoring Nick Mwendwa heading into those elections? And this deal, this KPL deal that was announced, how legit do you think it really is? Now, don't forget, that the social media handles, bottom of the screen, WhatsApp number will also be appearing. Leave your name on WhatsApp so I can shout you out. And then on Twitter, #Soccer360, Nicolette White will be reading some of those tweets as we move along.